And welcome to JazzedTutorials. This is a back to basics beginner tutorial. As I said in my last video, I am starting a weekly series during the week for beginners because I feel like I'm not really helping any of the beginners. I'm mostly just doing random advanced kind of tutorials and then sporadically doing a beginner's tutorial. So I figured I'd give the beginners a shot during the week and then the rest of you all at the end of the week on Saturday, if that's okay. But, so yeah. Alright, so last week we did a beginner's tutorial on how to blend in and make a space-like texture. This is similar to what we've done last week, but slightly different. The only difference is we're not going to be using our eraser brush as much. We're going to be mostly focusing on our blend modes in our layers palette. So let me show you exactly what I'm talking about. So I've opened an image here I found on google.com. And this is just a random field image. I'm just showing this for the tutorial purposes, but by all means use your own photos, and this will work with anyone's photo. And these are just some tips on how to make your images pop out, stand out, and make awesomeness and amazingness. So, what you're going to want to do is when you open your image and you want to add textures to it, and adding textures to an image will then enhance the color in the photo and will give it new life and make it look stand out and just make it look amazing and awesome in general. So, when you're looking for textures for your specific image, you want to look for ones that have a good color scheme. So like if your image is really bright like mine, you'll want to look for darker images. Like type in dark textures or whatever. And because I like the way my grass is really green, I want to focus in mostly on the background of it with the sky. So I'm going to be looking for sky textures that are dark and not so much for the grass, because the grass can be as green as possible because, you know, obviously grass is green. So I want to kind of color the background of it, not so much the grass. But if you want to color yours, that's fine. Do whatever, but I'm just showing you this for tutorial purposes. So I found a cool looking sky cloud image on google.com. Of course, I resized mine because mine was really large, and I'm sure yours will be too, so you'll have to resize that. And I kind of like to play around my blend modes to see what looked good to me. I tried multiply, but that was really weird, and I'll show you what I mean. It's like a graveyard weirdness, and I'm like, no. So I then just shot down to my good old friend overlay. Overlay is my go-to blend mode. It works for almost anything I like to do. And I loved what it gave me. It contrasted my image nicely. So I like the nice contrast it gave me. It wasn't too crazy and bright. I mean, yeah, it's bright and whatnot, but the contrast really made it look nice. But while that was great and all, I felt like I needed to add way more. So I then went and searched for another texture on google.com. I'm really shooting for google.com today. Sorry, guys. You could also go on deviantart.com. Deviantart.com is also another alternative, but like I said, google.com is just so much easier. Alright, I found another texture, and this is another sky texture. Now, the reason why you see half a texture is because I erased the other bottom part because, as I said before, I don't want to colorize my green grass. I like that it's contrasted, and that's fine. But I don't want to colorize it at all, so I kind of erased the parts I don't want. And then, again, I played around to see what looked good to me. And I thought, maybe hard light. And hard light really was awesome, because look at that nice, like, colorized contrast to it. Really subtle, really nice, and nice coloring. And so, while I did like how it came out, I stopped right there and thought, okay, that's cool. But then I got thinking, what if I went a step further and added an actual person into the image and made it look as though they were in the field? So I did that. I searched for another texture, but this one including a person. And I found the perfect texture. This texture is a lovely cloud texture, and I'll explain why that's cut out in a second. And this is a cloud texture, and it included some cool hot air balloons. And I wanted to use the hot air balloons, but I didn't want to have the entire like sky texture into it, so I cut out most of the whole sky. I left parts of it in there, and that's okay, but I didn't want the whole thing. So I set that one to hard light as well, because hard light really stood that one out. So hard light, and voila. I like it. You like it? I like it. Alright, now, as you notice, there's a cutout part there. The reason being, in order for me to create a really nice looking ghost effect to my image, I had to cut the boy out of the photo. So I cut him out of the texture, and I repasted him onto a new layer. So, new layer of boy. And I had to duplicate that because of the fact that I cut it out, and you can see the cutout where I cut him out. So I duplicated his layer and kind of shoved him over a bit so that it wasn't, showing too much, but what are you going to do? So, to create that ghostly effect, I had to drop the opacity on the original boy layer, which is 50%, and then on my top, which is my main boy layer, I'm going to drop that down to nearly nothing, around 18%. 18. And yeah, that's basically what I did. So, yeah. And you can play around with your blend modes as well if you want to put them a hard light. I chose hard light, but you don't have to. And that's essentially how you can blend in textures into a photo and create a cool and awesome effect. So, it's not all about the brushes and stuff. It's also about textures as well, guys. Textures do enhance your photos, and they will give you awesome effects, such as this one here. I didn't even have to go anywhere remotely near a brush, well, except for the eraser brush. That doesn't really count. But yeah, that's essentially what you do. That's how you blend stuff together using textures. I hope I helped you guys out. If I did, hit my like button. If you got any questions, comments, suggestions, or anything, you can either inbox me or comment below. I try to help everybody out and reply back, so yeah. If I was really helpful, you are more than welcome, and I would love it if you would subscribe. I love subscribers, and we're almost 100 away from reaching 10,000. That's amazing, guys. 10,000 people love me. That's awesome. Oh, and one more thing before I go. I have joined a site called patreon.com, and I will explain that briefly what it is. Basically what it is when you sign up for it, I am the creator and you're the patron. So if you, the patron, sign up for it, you can then kind of, I guess, subscribe to me. But when you subscribe to me, you give me money, essentially. I'm not asking for any money from you guys whatsoever. That's not my game here. I'm just simply letting you know I'm joined this site. And if you really think I'm awesome and you want to pledge me and my awesomeness, you are more than welcome to, but I don't want to enforce it and make you feel like I'm pressuring you to paying me money. That's not the whole thing. If you do pledge me, it's only $5 a month if you decide to, but by all means, don't feel pressured to. I'm just simply letting you know I've joined the site, and if you want to be a cool supporter, head on over there. Link is below if you want to check that out. I post cool information on there as well. Even if you don't want to, pledge me, you can still sign up and view all my cool information. I post cool things in there as well. So, alright guys, thanks for watching, and as always, subscribe, comment, and like. Bye!